Hello everyone, welcome to Old Bluff. It's been a while since I've done a video. I've been real busy working on my little cabin build that I actually bought the Woodmizer Sawmill to use to build. We're going to be building 2 cabins on the property. I'm about to get started on the first one. I'm going to be doing a series of videos on this. I'll try and keep them as short as I can, but include as much information as I can. Hopefully you guys will follow me along the way. So let's get started with it. This is the style log that I've chosen to use, the Appalachian style, or 6.5 inches wide by 10 and almost 3/4 tall. The light color goes on the inside, the darker gray goes on the outside. But I can't decide what to do with the chinking. I had planned on using a 2x6 in between each one and then cover over the board with the synthetic chinking material. But if any of you have a suggestion on that, going the conventional route of mortar and lad, or what might be best, I would appreciate your input and comments on that, because I really can't decide if I'm doing the best thing with this or not. I appreciate your input on that. This is a little retention pond that I built at the entrance near the driveway to handle all the storm water. You can see the electric fence, temporary electric fence I've got out there to keep Bella and Brutus in the yard. This is a culvert pipe. I could only get the culvert pipe in level to get to the ditch out front, so I had to build that culvert to get that pond level up a little bit more to where it looked right. You can see the driveway going up to the build site there. I had this big double poplar out at the driveway entrance that I needed to cut down off all the power lines and telephone lines there. Out there thinking how I was going to get this thing to come down properly without tearing all the wires down. And then around the curve comes this right-of-way saw. So I coaxed the fella in with a little extra cash to clip all the limbs off for me. He got it all down to the bare trunk. And I was able to take a chainsaw then and fall the trees in between the power lines. I never would have got this done without him showing up. It just goes to show sometimes things just work themselves out. Now, one thing about this property, we've got a lot of big rock. You can see this big one here is about an 8,000-pound rock. Precious wouldn't pick it up. It got it out of the ground, but it wouldn't pick it up. I had to slide it across the ground. And I busted a hose in the process and getting it up out of the ground. Here you can see I'm plucking out rock back where the actual back porch is going to be, on the back of the cabin. I thought I'd go and get up this rock, get it out of the way so I wouldn't have to contend with it once the cabin is under construction. Plus I'm using these bigger rock, you'll see that later in the video. I'm using them to build up along the front of the cabin area to make a turnaround for the driveway. Because of the lay of the land here, I had to build up a good bit across the front. I'm going to have more foundation showing there that I'll backfill against to try and work everything out once the cabin is built. But this stump grapple, I probably have it on the skid steer 99% of the time. It's handy for projects like this. Obviously taking down trees, and you'll see a couple of big ones here in a few minutes that I'm going to take down with it and show you how it does it. It works real good at the sawmill. It's just an excellent piece of equipment. Very strong once you get used to it. Some of the limitations with it, this thing clamps down. It is stout. It's got the sharp teeth across the lower jaws that you work under roots and then lift up and pull back to cut the roots, and it comes in handy. I doled several of them trying to get some of these bigger rocks out of the ground. That big rock that I had in the first video, it was a tough one. It probably took 45 minutes to get it up out of the ground. Precious was glad when I got that one finished. It's real handy for just picking them up, moving them around, stacking them. You'd be surprised what you can do with the skid steer. pilot control valve in this track loader. You can just move it very small, steady amounts, and it comes in real handy placing the rock. Here I'm kind of clearing the way for my sewage line coming out of the foundation, corner of the foundation at this point. I've established the height of it where it needs to come out. It's actually coming out right across the top of the footing. It's the foundation wall. I'm going to build foundation walls out of block, half block on the top, just pour slab. But I'm getting these rock out of his way to make it a little bit easier for him. Plus I've got to bring underground power in through here, and I thought I would try and do it at the same time that I bring that sewage line out of the foundation. That way we're doing both of them together and there won't be any danger in one causing damage with the other. I just wanted to try and get that electrical out of the way before I did the sewage, just to be safe on that. Worked all the details out with the engineers about how I need to do that. Just kind of trying to think ahead anyway. You can see I'm just kind of plowing through, just hunting for rock. So I'll put the dirt back, but pick the rock out. That way it'll be a little bit easier on him. He won't be tearing up so much of the dirt right there. So I'm going to get it in a good way right there, and then do the entrance cable for the power first, and then he'll be able to come right back in above it to get his work done. Here's what I got done at the build site. You can see the driveway comes up to the side of the house. You can see the four corners out there, and this is the turnaround that I've got started on building up. I got all these big rock that I've stacked up and then backfilled everything into it. I've come up probably about 3 feet on the highest side, but these are all just big rock that I flipped up out of the yard from here and over here close to the house where we were cutting grass. I wanted to show you this, but you can see it's about close to 3 foot tall here on this far side. And I just taper it down on this far side here. That way when I cut grass, I'll be able to just go up and down this little ramp. I'll smooth it all out, add topsoil where I don't put gravel, so grass will have a good start in that. You can see here where Brutus has been shedding. I pulled all these hairs off of him. It looks like cotton. It came off of Brutus. I pulled off yesterday. You can see here that middle ribbon is the finished floor, so I'm going to be about 18 inches high right here, only about 8 inches at that far pin over there, and actually ground level at this highest corner right there at the base of this pin. And that grass is where the finished floor will be there. You can see it. And then this little pin over here, it's only about 8 inches up off the ground. This is where the back porch will be, all out in this area that I've graded out here. Then I'll straighten up. I'll leave all those rock, but I'll straighten all the backyard up. Anyway, just wanted to show you. And this is the view here, looking out. See, this will be from the kitchen window, about right here. Be looking right at the gate. That's where we're at. You can see here Bella, she was ready to help. She climbed up in the bucket, watching me work, and eventually she laid down, went to sleep, and I had to get her up to use the bucket. They're out there laying in the shade or somewhere just watching me work. Here I've got what I think is a hackleberry tree. It's either hackleberry or I forget what they call the other sugarberry, I believe it is. Looks like a cherry tree, the leaves and the berries on it, but the bark kind of like warts or something all over it. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but anyway, the septic guy wanted to run his field lines right through where this was at, so I told him I would take it out, and that left me a good bit more room for my secondary field line location, septic system. And one bad thing about this tree is it's two trees grown together, and of course they got rocks all in the roots, but one's about 18 inches in diameter, the other's about 22 or so base. There was just a lot of rocks under all this. You'll see some of them come up. I didn't spend too much time in videoing this, but it took a good hour to get that tree down, get it cut up and hauled out of there. As you can see, in using this stump grapple, how I just work it under the roots and pull back, lifting up those saw teeth along that bottom edge, or the top edge of that bottom section there, cut the roots. It's a real handy piece of equipment. If any of you out there are looking for something that'll take a big tree down, you got skid steer similar to this, whatever, even a tractor will work, a bigger tractor. But having a track loader is a big plus in taking down trees. You can't beat what a track hoe will do, but for a 110 horsepower track loader like this, it's a good piece of equipment. See, I just kind of run through some of the roots, getting it to the point where I can push the whole tree over, pull up roots and all. Here comes some of the rock out of there, and I got a lot of rock out from under this tree. Once I got it up, I tried to get all the rock that I could up for my septic guy, so it'd be a little bit easier for him when he runs the field lines. I think they're going to go he'll dig down about 3 feet. I believe is what he had said. 3 feet or 24 inches, I can't remember. He put his infiltrator system in at that point. You just have to stay steady with it. Once you find the root, and pushing on the tree helps you to find where the roots are at. Once in a while I'll quit and push on the tree, and you can see the roots pushing up on the ground, so then it tells you where you need to focus to get the next section of roots out. This being two trees grown together, I knew that I was not going to be able to get the roots out between the two, so I just had to work around the perimeter of it just to get it enough where I could push both of them over and then work on the rest of the stump after I got this tree out of the way, which made it a lot easier actually. But having all this rock involved in it really slowed things down, made it a lot harder. I tried not to interfere with some of the other little trees there beside the driveway. I wanted to keep as many trees as I could. This is on the east side of the log cabin, block a little bit of the morning sun coming in. And I like to keep trees as much as I can, especially these bigger old ones that I've got scattered around the property. We've got a lot of cedars too. You'll see some of those in a little while. I've got this now where I think it's enough where I can push it over. It took me probably about 20 minutes to get it to this point. And I just cut the tree up and just started hauling away sections, stumps out of there that were left down in the ground, getting the limbs cut up to the burn pile. Just enough to clear out, keep the area clean. You can see here now I'm working on the tops of the trees. And that's another good thing about that grapple. You can grab a big log just like this, or limbs, and you're able to carry it out in front of you. You'll see here in a minute when I put the skid steer in high speed, I'll lift it up where I can see underneath. You can carry a good bit to the burn pile in just one pass. This machine's got high and low speed. You'll see I stop right here and switch it into high speed and raise it up where I can see where I'm going. The high speed is normally just used from, say, point A to point B. It's just not for digging, it's just for moving. You can pick up a load and go with it, but it's not designed for actual digging and maneuvering in tight places. Getting quite a pile built up here. It's just the start of it. You'll see here in a second everything that I've got piled up to burn. Well, I've accumulated a good bit of trees and limbs to burn, but I guess it's going to be 1st of October before I can get to that. Now we've got the burn ban on, but I'll get to it at some point. I'll trim these up, get the pile a little bit better. I had to hold up on finishing that lower end. We had a lot of rain come in past couple of days, which we needed. I got my grass seed in. It's been in for 2 weeks and we didn't get any rain. All of a sudden now we're getting it. It should come on up at some point. Hopefully, if the sun didn't kill the seeds, I may have to reseed it, I don't know. But you can see at the retention pond how I put one of the large rocks on top of the culvert and then backfilled around it with topsoil. That way I can just drive right over it with the lawnmower once it's completed. You see, it fills up quick. It's only rained, I don't know, probably about an inch or 2 total. There's another big rock sitting out there. I'm gonna plant some willows behind it to drape over the little pond there. Driveway going up to the build site. Right up there. Well, this is what the front of the fence looks like. You can see I've charred everything. It matches what we got in front of the house. Built this during some of the hottest days so far this year. It was tough. But I just wanted to share all this with you. I'll be doing other videos as time goes on. Probably next up will be the foundation septic tank. And get started on that here in the near future. So until next time, you guys take care and be safe.